Hi everyone. For today's tutorial, I haven't made this bracelet yet. I kind of have it in my head, and I've gone through several different throwing out some pieces because I screwed up. So I think I've got it a down pat enough that I can do a tutorial and do it together with you guys. Now for this tutorial, it's going to be super easy and super cheap, but it's going to look pretty. I want to call it Christmas Candy Twist Bracelet, and you'll see why. Now I'm using red and white seed beads and an 11-0. That's all I'm using for seed beads. I am going to throw in the odd 2mm, you can even use 3mm, whatever you want, Swarovski rounds. They're super tiny, but it's just going to add that nice hint of sparkle in your bracelet. You don't have to use that though, okay? I'm using these kind of ends. They're kind of like a fold over end. I don't know what you call these, but they fold over top. They're just, and they got a hook on the end so you can put a closure on the end of these. I got them from eBay. And I know they're string ends, and that's all you have to really call them. And go do a search and you'll find them. They're super cheap. Come in a package this big, and there's like hundreds in there. You're going to need a few of those. Alright? I am using, like I said, white and red. You need needle nose pliers to crimp your beads. And I'm using very thick Wildfire. It's kind of like a 12-pound test, but it's 0.008 inch, so it's really thick in the frost white. Now what you're going to do is you're going to cut 8 strands about, I would say, 14 to 15 inches long. Alright? So I've pre-cut all my strands, so you don't have to do all this in front of you. Then you're going to take 4 of your strands, and you're going to put the 4 strands together. Try and even them up a little bit. You don't have to be perfect or precise. So there's 3, and here's 4. Okay? And kind of squish them together like that. Now you're going to get your pliers, and you're going to pick up, oh, and you're going to need some crimp beads. You're going to pick up 1 crimp bead, and you're going to try and put it over this. If not, just put it down and pick it up. That's how I've done it before. So let me see if this will work, if I can get all 4 strands in there. Well, just 1 I'm missing. Now I don't have any. That's why it's kind of nice to get them all even if you can, because then they'll go into your crimp bead. There we go. Now bring your crimp bead down and leave yourself a good tail like this. Alright, it doesn't have to be any particular amount. I mean, it could be about, that's about 2.5 inches. And then you're just going to nicely flatten out all your pieces so they're nice and flat. You can even use 10-pound Fireline if you want, if you don't have 12. It's just the stronger the better, the longer your bracelet will last. That's all I'm telling you. Okay? And crimp that there, like that. So now I've got myself this nice little tail. That'll eventually get cut off, so don't worry about that. Now you're going to work with 1 piece at a time. So you're going to dump all your beads, or dump a stack of beads, on your beading mat, like this. And then you're going to take, I'm using a size 10 beading needle. Then you're going to take one end of your wire, and I'm probably going to have to flatten this with my pliers because this Wildfire is really thick and it's not going to go in the eye of the needle that easily. So hopefully that's flattened enough. And I'm using a size 10. Oh yeah, flattening it makes it a lot better. Now, all you're going to do is make a nice big pile like this. Sorry, I broke a nail. Aw, I broke a nail. But it just popped off. These are just, you know, my Lee press-on nails. But my job is so hard on nails. That's why I can't get nails. Because every time I open car door, open the mailboxes, I bang my nails. My hands are so rough. All these little cuts that you see all over my hands are from work. You're gonna see these all the time on me. I have cuts all over my hands. They're mainly from work, and that's from Bad Boy Miku. He bit me there. Well, it wasn't really his fault. He was trying to hold on, and that's how he was holding off, and he bit me. So I almost cried like a baby. No, I didn't. But it did hurt. Especially right there, because the bone is right there, and that didn't tickle. Anyway, now that you've got your needle threaded on one of your strands, you're just going to start picking up your beads. And you want to kind of go upward, you know, so you're not snagging into your mat. So I'm just like that. I'm going to have more of a mess anyways. And just let them fall down to where your bead cap is, or your crimp bead is. Keep piling them up. It's a lot easier to pick them up. And then I'm just going to pick up one of these crystals here and there. You know, just throw a little sparkle in here and there. No particular order. I'm not going to count them. There's 12 in the package. I get them in these packages from Fire Mountain Gems. I think they're 2.5 millimeter. They're super tiny. See how tiny those are? And they are Swarovskis. Swarovskis. So I'm just kind of faking I know what I'm doing. No, I'm not. I do know what I'm doing. If you would have seen what I done earlier, you would have got a good laugh at me. So kind of glad that didn't happen on camera. I was trying to teach you guys how to make this without, you know, I was designing it right in front of you guys, and then I really messed up bad. So that's what happens. I waste. You wouldn't believe how much beads I throw out, and Fireline and thread and components and findings. How many of them get thrown out because I'm designing something and it doesn't turn out? So now I'm going to make this, oh, I would say about, I want an 8-inch bracelet. So I'm going to go about, I don't know, 7 inches, 7¼ inches, and leave 3/4 for jump rings and your closure. So you're going to need that on both sides. So I'm going to keep doing this till I get to the end. It's a lot easier to string your beads on when you just poke them with a needle like that. You don't gotta, the only thing is you have to keep piling them, unless you've got a bead whipper or whatever those things are called. A bead spinner. So, let me see roughly how long that is. And if I make it too short, you know me, I always add a little jump ring in here and there. So, you want to kind of make all 4 of your strands pretty even. Let's add another crimp bead. Or no, actually that's going to be, I'm just going to add the 3 in there for now. Alright, I'm going to measure this because, oh, I broke my ruler. I don't know how I'm going to measure now. Oh, I could still measure. I dropped it and it broke it. Cry like a baby. Not quite at 7 yet. So let's scoop a few more. Gonna move those out of your way. I want to just go a little over 7 into about 7¼ inches. So we're gonna go from here to, oh geez, we're almost 7½. So I'm gonna pull a couple beads off. Okay. Now you're going to take your crimp bead with your, while your needle is on, and you're going to go into that crimp bead, and then you're just going to park it there, pull your needle off, and leave that crimp bead on that one. Now, if you want it to be safe, you can kind of tie this in like a little bow, just so it doesn't fall off, but don't tie it super tight. You can tie yourself a little tiny bow, I think. Yeah. A little tiny knot. but not a tight knot that it's not going to come off. Alright, let's just do it this way. Be a heck of a lot easier. There. Okay, so this end's not going to fall off. So you're going to do the same thing now. You're going to repeat this and squish your, whoops, your Fireline or your Wildfire, whatever you're using. Flatten it nice so it goes into your needle. And move your ruler out of the way because that one's bothering me. And then it'll go right into your needle, super easy. It's like flattened like a piece of paper. Okay, so when you do this one now, you kind of want to make sure you stagger those crystals if you're putting crystals in. So for 4 strands, I'm going to just stick in 3 crystals for each one. So let me pick up a few beads here, pick up a crystal, and it should stagger. If you want to use crystals, you don't have to. You can even use bigger crystals if you want. So let's just stick one in there. And continue picking up beads. Keep making your piles into a pile. Hope I have enough here to do. Oh, I did have enough to do 4. Didn't have all that many left over, so this is all I'm going to do. String on, pull this down because I don't want to sit like, I don't want to put another crystal where I already have one, so I'm going to put a few more on and then I'm going to put a crystal on. So this one kind of ends up being here, sort of in the middle. It doesn't really matter because no one's going to sit there and count those beads on your wrist. So, like I said, I've got 12 crystals for each side. So there's 2, 4, 6, 7 left. And I've got 1, 2, 3, 5 on. So these packages only come with 12 in a package. I don't remember what I paid for it either. It's not that expensive. $2, $3 somewhere around there for these 2mm. I think they're 2.5 to be honest with you. So again, I'm just whoops. I got little tiny fine dog hairs everywhere. Oh, especially on my beading mat. It drives me crazy. Okay. Getting there. We're not quite ready for crystal, are we? Let's check this out. Push that in. So it would be the last crystal. So yeah, I should have put one. Nah. I'll just pick one up. So there's the 3 for that one. Wow. Okay, and continue picking up your beads. There we go. You guys could probably hear my dryer going. I had to wash. I got some new winter jackets and I had to wash them. They're very staticky and I can't stand static in my clothes whatsoever. I go through a lot of fabric softener because our winters here are so cold that the air, like our environment where we live, like our homes, my work, so hot. Well, not hot. It's warm inside that it's warm enough that it dries the air so much. It's awful. Even in my house, it's horrible. So in the wintertime, it doesn't matter how much fabric softener, how much Downy I use, or how many fabric sheets I put in the dryer, everything still has static in it. As soon as you sit up, you get electrical shock from stuff. So I have to spray down my furniture with fleecy or Downy, whatever. So what you want to do now is, I've probably put too many beads on here, and this is how you want to check. Just pull them together as close to each other at this end as possible. Okay, and I can see I have gone, let's see, bring this back down. So I've gone about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 beads, whatever. I'm going to take 5 beads off. So I took taking 5 off because I want them to be pretty close in size. Like I don't want one longer than the other, and you don't want that either. So double check before you stop and pull your needle off. Pull it close together. And to me, it kind of looks like I could take about 3 more beads off. So that's not enough. So I'm going to take 3 more off. Okay. Then, oh shoot. Well, we'll just pull this out. I wrapped it around where the crimp bead is. Sitting. There we go. Let's pull that out of there. Alright. Now, you just take your needle and run it up through that crimp bead as well. So now you've got 2 in there. Alright, and pull this knot out and tie these 2 together now. So you got 2 strands done. And we just don't want them to fall off. That's the only reason why we're tying this. Not even a real knot. It's just a fake knot. But it's going to keep your beads from falling off. So there's where you want to check to make sure. See, that's pretty good. Look. It's excellent. So continue to do that with the other 2 red ones, or white, whatever color you're using, and I'll come back and when I get my other 2 strung, and you can go shop online and look for these little taggy things. I don't know what they're called. My God, if somebody knows what they're called exactly so I can help other people to get them, please comment below. Thank you, and I'll be back. Okay guys, so I have finished stringing on my 4 red ones. This is all I've gotten done. So now I want to get ready to crimp the end of it. And what you're going to do is make sure none of your strings are crossed over. Like none of them are, you know, keep them all nice and flat before you even crimp this bead. You want to make sure, let me show you here. Nothing's crossed over, and I could see this one is, so let me find which thread it is. It's this one, and I want to move it over. I'm just wanting to lay these flat. I don't want them to be all messed up. So, picking this up in my hand, make it easier. But you want to kind of put them all into the crimp bead. Perfect like that. Before you crimp it. See? Like that. Now you're going to take your pliers. Well, actually push this crimp bead down. That's basically where you want them. And push your crimp bead all the way down and crimp. Okay, so now you've got this joined like that. Okay, probably not going to matter, but this one kind of crossed over. There's no way of getting around that. There we go. You just have to, there we go, they're perfect. Now you're going to carry on and do the same thing. See how I just put the little specks of 2mm in there? I think they look really cute. So now you're going to do the exact same thing you did here. You're going to do with your white beads. Okay? So you've got your other strand all prepared and ready. And you're going to string on all your white beads the same length as this one. Okay? And I'm going to come back and show you how to put this together. Okay. So I have finished both of my pieces, so I got my white and my red done, and now we need to put it in this little wee cappy kind of end cap. I believe that's an end cap of some kind. So what you're going to do, and this is going to be a bit tedious, I already know it is grab both your ends, and you want to just close off one of them inside of that cap. And I am going to be using a little bit of E6000 glue because I trust E6000. But what you want to do is get all 8 of these strands in this end cap piece. And it's going to be difficult, but it will go in there. So before you close this cap off, pull it nice and tight, make sure it's very secure in there. All your pieces are in there, close to your bead, crimp bead here, but don't have the crimp bead inside of it. Okay, just make sure you're not missing any threads. Pull that close and close one end off. But before you do that, put a dab of E6000 on that, just so none of your threads pull out. So I'm just going to take my needle and I'm going to put a little bit of glue in there, like that. So when I close my cap, I'm going to get glue on my pliers, but that's okay because this glue comes off quite easily. So I closed it on one side, and I want to make sure I close all these pieces in there. These are a little tricky to close with all these ends in here, but you need to. Can't do that with the glue in my hand. I'm going to make sure this one's good, tight down. There we go. And now you want to push the other one down. Like that. Give it a good squish. Squishy squish. And then just clean up the glue. That's all you need to do. Okay, so we know that those threads are good and glued in there and they ain't coming out. What do I do with my scissors? Right here. Now, you can probably cut all your threads off where your end cap, where they come out of the end cap there. Don't cut on this side because you'll cut your bracelet apart. But cut all your strings off. There we go. And it really doesn't hurt to have that extra glue in there because it'll help. Now we're going to do exact same thing, only now we're going to make our fancy bracelet. So make sure you have all your ends. 1, 2, 3, 4. You have your ends here. And I'm making sure that these don't pull out. So I'm just going to squish this again. Good and secure. And now you're going to just put this end through here before closing. So your bracelet is like this. See this? See how pretty? And they're going to do the same thing over here. So you might even want to put, what do I do with my needle? You might even want to put a piece of glue on your cap first. So I'm going to stick some glue right on this end cap, like so. So now grab your 2 ends and try not to twist that like that, so it's not going to look right. Trying to get them on top of each other. There we go. Now it's going to be fun to get that turned around this way. So put them in there. And in there. And pick it up. And make sure it's nice and snug up there, which it is. And then give it a little squeeze here so you can close it. Don't do that. Okay. Make sure all your ends are in there before you close that. Oops. It's kind of awful because I have glue on this now. And it just peels off. That's one good thing about this E6000. It's awesome for that. Okay, this one's going to give me problems. I'm just wrapping it tightly over my finger so it doesn't come out, and I'm going to squish. Maybe one end down, yeah. One end's down. Now squish the other end over. Tight. And one of my ends came out. Oh shoot. See, that's not what we want. So let me clean up the glue here. See if I can open this after it's been closed. I probably can't. I'm gonna have to. I'm gonna have to squish it off, I think. Hopefully it doesn't damage any of my threads. Darn it. Nothing works right for me. Okay. I need to open this gap without damaging these threads because I don't want to restring these. I wonder if I squish it a little bit, if it'll open enough that I can get a new cap. Oh shoot. No. Well, darn, look at that. I'm going to go off camera, fight with a little bit, and I'll come back. Okay, I managed to get it off without destroying my threads. So, if that ever happens to you, use 2 pairs of pliers to get those apart. So I'm just starting all over again by placing it in another end cap and making sure this time I capture all 8. Some of these ends are shorter. That's probably what happened. And I could put another piece on, and I put more glue just to be safe. There we go, all fixed up. Now let me wipe away the glue. There, that's much better. Now let me squish this from both sides, make sure it's good and closed. None of our threads are going to pull out of that. And then you're just going to cut these off with your scissors, or you can use clippers or trimmers or whatever they are. You want to get as close to that as possible. There we go. Done. Now, this is what you have. 2 ends crossed over. There's a name for this, but I don't know what it is, but look at how this looks on your wrist. Isn't that pretty? So now all we have to do is finish it off, and I think I'm just going to use, let me see how big this is. let's see what we need. Do we need a toggle, or can we use jump rings and a spring ring? Yeah, I'm gonna use a spring ring, guys. So let me grab a spring ring and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so I have these really nice fair size spring rings. Look like about an 8mm or 10. No, it's probably an 8. So I don't use spring rings very often, but I'm going to use one of these and make sure it works before you attach it to your bracelet. So always test your toggles and your lobster closures. And I'm going to use oval jump rings just because I like oval jump rings, and I know my bracelet will be secure once that glue dries. Okay, and now we're going to have to close up or open up our jump rings. So grab it in your hand, grab another pair of pliers and just give it a twist. So it doesn't matter which end you put your spring ring on. And put it through the hole of your bracelet like that, and let's close it up nice and tight. And that's not too closed, but I like, you know me, I always give my oval jump rings a squish in the middle, always. And that gives them a really tight close. You see? Not quite tight enough. I'm really anal OCD about closing these jump rings. Hi, Miku. Oh, hi. He's goofy. Okay, so the spring ring is on that end. And now we're just going to put this on, this bigger. They're both the same size, actually. Let me get the glue off of my pliers. Hi, Miku. And we'll open this one up. Put this on the other end, and this will be what we attach our spring ring to. So open that up, find your end, which ended up being over here, and close it. Oops, let's get this on. I kind of have glue here and the threads are there. There we go. Now you want to close this up good and tight too. Good and tight. And give it a squish because it's an oval jump ring. There we go. And that's it. Your bracelet is done. Is that not beautiful? I love it. I absolutely love it. It's very, oops. Probably need someone to put it on for you if you use the spring ring. There. Okay, let me see if I can do this all by myself. Probably not. Oh, I hate doing up spring rings by myself. But I'll get it. Just give me a second. I'll show you how sexy this is. Okay, it's not. There we go. I'll be back. Got it, guys! I had to get help from my husband because it's impossible to put on by yourself with a spring ring. But there, look at your beautiful Is that not beautiful? Come on, guys. I know you guys are going to make one. And it's got just the tiniest little crystal in there, you know, just to set it off. So I'm going to call this Christmas Christmas Candy Twist bracelet. I don't know. Maybe not. I don't know. We'll see, but I really like that. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. I'm going to list all the stuff below in the description box, what you need. So basically that's it. You need a couple ends, spring ring, couple of jump rings, and all 11 OC beads. Like I said, you do not have to use these crystals. You can just use whatever you have. Maybe you want bigger crystals, but that's it. Hope you guys had fun and you enjoy making this, and I'll see you soon on the next video. Bye everyone.